The leading vote-getter on the National League All-Star ballot and top MVP candidate carried the Braves again yesterday, with more than just baseball weighing on his mind.
You know, obviously this is a tough day, not only for me, but the whole Freeman family. You know, my brother's here, and it's hard to keep my emotions in check. We lost her way too young, so, you know, I hit that really high. You know I hit it good, but I think she pulled that one over for me today.
Emotional day yesterday for Braves first baseman Freddie Freeman. He drove in both Atlanta runs as the Braves swept the New York Mets. Now the homestand continues with the surging San Diego Padres in town for Game 1 of 4 here at SunTrust Park. Hi again, friends, with Jeff Francoeur and Joe Simpson. Welcome back to Atlanta, where the surging Braves maintain their one-game lead in the Eastern Division race over the second-place Washington Nationals. The Padres are in town for the first of 4 tonight, and this is an important stretch of games, Jeff, for Atlanta has a lot of, well, shall we say it, losing teams on the schedule. They'll need to beat them with a very tough schedule coming up right before the All-Star break.
Yeah, guys, we've said it. We had a tough schedule to start the year. We're able to take advantage, win some ball games. Now we're up a game on the Nats, and this is time where we can really separate ourselves and try to get a little bit of a lead going into the All-Star break. You know, we're playing a tough San Diego team that played when we were in San Diego, but now they're coming to our place, and we've played well against them here. Joe, it's important for us to continue that momentum that we've got.
Yeah, and not take these guys for granted. You can't look at the San Diego record any more than you could look at the Dodgers record when the Braves went in there. The Dodgers are playing great baseball now, and they took 2 out of 3 from Atlanta, just like the Padres did. They are on their best stretch of games since 2015. They've won 15 of their last 21, and they come in tough.
They just took 2 out of 3 from the St. Louis Cardinals, and their pitching staff did not issue a single walk at Busch Stadium. So the Braves will have their hands full tonight. It'll be Anibal Sanchez trying to beat the Padres for the first time. Tyson Ross goes for the Pods. Lineup's first pitch on a beautiful 87-degree night coming up next. Warm, muggy night in Atlanta as you see our Checkers weather report. 87 degrees, partly cloudy skies. Feels a lot hotter on the field. And speaking of hot, that's how San Diego comes to town. They have won 5 consecutive series for their skipper Andy Green. Here is their Toyota starting lineup. Jose Pirela, the second baseman, has 19 RBIs. He's their leadoff man. And Anibal Sanchez ready to go to work. And the first pitch is fouled straight back, and we are underway.
Anibal 2-0, a 2.37 ERA. Made 5 starts in his career against San Diego, but has not defeated them. 0-2 with a very good 2.76 ERA.
Yeah, the Padres and the Angels, the only 2 major league teams Anibal Sanchez has never beaten, but he has pitched well historically against the Padres. And his second pitch of the night is hit high in the air toward left. Tucker retreating, still going back to the track, has room, reaches up and makes the play. And Pirela's retired on a deep fly out to left. 1 up and 1 man down.
One of the really strong parts of Anibal Sanchez is that he gets off to a pretty good start. And he's also done well when he's been in trouble. Runners on base, risk, 2 out, runners in scoring position, 1 for 10. He's able to pitch himself out of jams. His 4 keys to pitching success tonight. Number 1 is off-speed pitches, which are outstanding. He'll need those tonight against a good hitting club. And the 3rd time through the order will be very key for him.
And retiring this guy, Corey Spangenberg, will be key. Atlanta had all kinds of trouble with Corey out west in San Diego. 4 hits, a homer, and 2 triples. He also knocked in 3 of his 14 runs. And this one's laced out of play foul. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You know, when we were out there, Corey was hitting about $185.
Right.
And it's one of those things. I think he's a much better hit. You can see he's already up to 216, Joe, and I won't be surprised to see him up above 250 at the All-Star break. This kid can play.
Time called as Spangenberg stepped out. 1 hole in his game is a lot of strikeouts, not a lot of walks. Spangenberg has whiffed 43 times. He's walked 4 times and sports a 246 on base.
Former 1st round pick.
Man, even I walked more than that.
Yeah, you did. I remember that year.
The 2-1 pitch, and off speed. Spangenberg didn't get it. Now 2-2. That is something else you will see a lot if the numbers don't lie about San Diego. They have struck out more than any other team in the National League. They average over 9 strikeouts a game. That's 3 innings of no contact. Hopefully Sanchez can take advantage of that as this one's lifted again toward left and left center. And Tucker gallops over and makes the play at the 385 sign. Ender was there to help out. Preston's been busy. 2 up and 2 down.
The first 2 innings for Anibal Sanchez, it's not one of those situations we talk about quite often where the pitcher where he's got to get settled in, maybe get him early or don't get him. First 2 innings, hitters are only 4 for 34 against him this year with 1 homer.
But that'll be put to the test here with Eric Hosmer. He was making some personal history tonight. First the pitch from Sanchez. It's fouled off the screen. Eric Hosmer tonight is playing in the 30th Major League ballpark. This is the last one that he ever played in as a major league player here at SunTrust. He's off to a terrific start on their road trip. 8 hits, 2 homers in 24 at bats. And of all the Padres, he's seen Sanchez the most from his days in the American League. This one's popped to Dansby Swanson at short. Anibal sawed him off. 3 flyouts in San Diego's first. Chop of the night tonight at SunTrust Park. Welcome to Atlanta. Hopefully you'll help the Braves chop down the Padres in game 1 of 4 here tonight. Here's the Atlanta starting lineup presented by Toyota. Albee, Swanson, and Freeman 1, 2, and 3. Tyler Flowers gets the start between Markakis and Camargo. Preston Tucker starting for the first time since June 3rd in left field. He hits 8th. And Tyson Ross is the man on the mound for the Padres. Quite a find, quite a medical history for the San Diego right-hander.
This guy is really big too. 6'7", 250 out of Berkeley, California. You can see that his numbers gradually go up. If you can be patient with this guy and kind of weather the storm, you might be able to get to him a little bit later in the ball game. He's coming off a start against Miami where he won 5-4. In fact, the Padres have won each of his last 6 starts.
And he'll face off with Ozzie Albies leading off for the Braves, who's riding a 3-game hit streak. 4 hits in those 3 games, 2 of them homers. And on the first pitch, he'll bounce to first. And Hosmer's there for out number 1.
We think Calvin Ridley learned a lot from Julio this week at minicamp?
Wow, you bet. It's kind of hard for those guys from Alabama to come over and do the tomahawk chop. It's too much like Florida State. You know?
But he handled it well, professionally, shall we say.
Yeah.
And 1 pitch, 1 out for Dansby Swanson, who's picked up 11 hits in his last 9 games. Dansby at 265 on the year, 6 homers. And that's off the plate. When Ross is right, he has an excellent slider and he gets a lot of ground balls. He's gotten 1 of those already tonight. And that one just missed for the Braves shortstop. 2-0.
Real easy gas. Nice easy motion. 89-93. Slider, changeup, and a cutter.
Right there at 90 and called a strike.
Yeah, his big thing, if he could stay healthy. He's just had so many arm problems the last 2-3 years. That's really, you know, his big thing's control. He's a 2-pitcher guy.
In 2013, he dislocated his left shoulder swinging the bat. Then in 2016, he was the Padres opening day starter, injured his shoulder. Padres then declined his option. He became a free agent, went to Texas, made 12 appearances, got released, and then San Diego brought him back on a minor league deal this year. And he has turned into a 5-game winner for a team that's looking for all kinds of help in their starting rotation. And the way he's pitching, guys, I would think for the Padres, if they decided to make a move, he would be a pretty attractive option for a club looking to bolster their starting staff.
I just never understand when people are trying to rebuild their value. Why go to a place like Texas?
As
I mean,
a
who knows?
pitcher?
Maybe that, as a pitcher. That's my point. Shoot, yeah, you're a hitter. Go there all you want.
Yeah. But maybe there weren't that many takers for him with the injury. And Texas, too, was looking for pitching as well. But he's back in San Diego. Great pitcher's park. And as Joe said, when he pitches, the Padres usually win. Hopefully that won't be the case tonight. Red hot Freddie Freeman waiting on deck. And the payoff pitch is fouled away. Good to see Dansby make Ross do some heavy lifting here in the first inning after Albies grounded out on the first pitch. Nick Markakis waits in the hole. He's sitting on 88 hits, and the pitch is lined toward third, and Spangenberg to his left is there, and that's the second out. And here is Freddie. First time in Freddie's career he has homered in 3 consecutive games. In fact, he has 5 homers in his last 27 at bats.
A couple of those were in San Diego. He had a good series there, 5 for 13.
He's almost had a good series everywhere this year.
Indeed.
And that's way off the plate. 1 ball, no strikes.
I think what's been so amazing for me with Freddie and Nick is the consistency by which they've done it. I know Ozzy's having a great year, but think about how hot he was and then how cold he went. These two guys have been consistent almost every night.
Well, they're neck and neck in hits. You know, every night somebody
they're
takes
by
over.
far. People ask, they're the best 3-4 hitter in National League right now. Can you think of another one?
No. And what's great, Chip pointed out yesterday or day before about who else has got left-handed hitters back-to-back in 3-4 and play every day.
1-2 pitch. And now 2 balls, 2 strikes. What an emotional day yesterday was, as it always is for Freddie Freeman. 18th anniversary of his mother's tragic passing. Oh, and that one almost got Marquez.
He almost just killed his counterpart.
Yikes.
How did he do that? I mean, Nick's almost directly behind him.
That cutter might have been a little bit in. What do you think?
Woo.
Nick, we got a little smile out of him.
Uh-huh.
The 2-2 is fouled that way again. And Freddie's still alive. Freeman both RBIs yesterday. Atlanta beat Jacob deGrom, who once again got no run support. Mike Soroka was absolutely brilliant in his return from the DL. And Freddie tipped that one, and that retires the side. So Ross has a 1-2-3 first, and we are underway in Atlanta. No score.
Plans for the weekend. So Brandon McCarthy will start game 2 tomorrow. Sean Newcomb gets the nod on Saturday. Now Sunday is listed as TBD, but Brian Snicker tells us the plan is for Julio Teheran to be activated off of the disabled list and start that series finale. One of those final tests was today. He threw a bullpen, was able to work in his breaking ball for the first time. Chip, Joe, and Jeff, he said he felt well and everything felt good with the breaking ball, so we can probably expect to see him on Sunday.
All right, Kelsey, great report. So clarity for the starters for this series for Atlanta. As Anibal Sanchez starts his second inning with a strike to Hunter Renfroe, the Padres left fielder. Renfroe had a couple of hits against the Braves. And this sets up an interesting statistical oddity. He's batting 4th for San Diego tonight. Number 4 hitters do not have a hit this year against Anibal Sanchez. See if that holds here in game 1. The pitch rolled toward third. Tricky hop. Camargo stayed with it, and a perfect throw for out number 1.
Well, I think one thing that's great for Julio is the built-in 10-day DL. I think that's changed everything in baseball. You know, I was talking to Brian McCann, who's got a knee issue. And it just lingered, and they put him on the 10-day DL 15 days ago, just more than anything to get it drained, give him some rest. You know, after 10 days, he came back out. And I think Julio's thrown a lot over the last 5-6 years and been healthy. And, you know, it's not the worst thing for him to get a little bit of break, especially now that we got some depth.
I think it's a great thing that they went to a 10-day.
This is Franmil Reyes, the Padres right fielder who has a ton of power.
That home run he hit in San Diego that night, whew,
Yeah.
that was as loud as I've heard a ball hit in a while.
Well, he's the biggest human in baseball, I think.
There's no doubt.
Pop fly foul back toward us. 1 ball, 1 strike.
6'5", listed at 275.
I think he's 300.
He might be.
I was going to say, I want his scale.
Yeah. I think he's a biscuit over 300.
6 homers, 8 RBIs for him. As that one's in the dirt. Ball 2, strike 1 for the Padres outfielder, who has struck out 31 times and has walked just 4 times. I mean, it's pretty amazing when you look at the offensive numbers for this Padre ball club and say, how in the world are they 4 games under 500? Last in on base percentage, most strikeouts, 12th in average, next to last in homers, 12th in offense, runs per game. As that one's caught on and missed, Reyes is strikeout victim number 1.
But their pitching is good and their bullpen is really good.
Yes, it is.
As we discovered out there in game 3 of the series, they pitched a bullpen game against the Braves and shut Atlanta down.
I was thoroughly impressed with that bullpen day. I said I loved as a player when you knew you were going to get to face a bullpen day, because you said, okay, they're going to throw 5-6 pitchers. What are the chances that all those guys are on that day? Well, they were that day.
And we might have a bullpen game on Sunday by San Diego. They've not announced their starter for that game. And it certainly was effective in the finale out in San Diego. It was effective in St. Louis, too, when they wrapped up their series with the Cardinals. The way it worked out, none of the Cardinal hitters saw the same pitcher twice. Andy Green had the left-handed pitchers for the left-hand hitters several times through the lineup, and the Cardinals were absolutely befuddled in St. Louis by it.
I think that happened that last game in San Diego, Chip. I don't think any Braves hitter saw the same guy twice.
No, they didn't. Strom started that game, and I think he went nine batters. That was it. They came and pulled him after that.
2-1 for Freddie Galvis. That's over the screen, and the count even to him, 2-2.
And you talk about it, the most impressive stat I got from the whole Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in St. Louis is that they didn't walk anybody in 28 innings. That's amazing in this day and age.
Galvis takes high. It's a full count. Freddie's reached base 18 of his 20 games of late. 8 walks in that stretch. And this one's bounced to first. Freddie's got it. It'll be 6 up, 6 down for Anibal Sanchez. Nick Markakis leads off a scoreless second for Atlanta next. 1952, the Braves acquired an 18-year-old named Hank Aaron from the Indianapolis Clowns and assigned him to their Class C farm team in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. The future home run king would make his major league debut 2 years later with the Milwaukee Braves. And Henry Aaron purchased for the Indianapolis Clowns for a $10,000 purchase fee. Went on to win the Northern League Rookie of the Year award that season. Hit .336 with 9 homers in 87 games. And a strike to Nick Markakis. It's 0-1.
He was probably just happy to get out of a team called the Clowns.
Yeah, probably. Should have seen their unis.
Real big shoes, too. Ground ball to first. Hosmer will scoop it up at the bag and step on it for out number 1. If I'm not mistaken, when Henry Aaron started his professional career, he was a cross-handed hitter.
Right.
As a right-hand hitter, his left hand was on top of his right when he swung the bat and had to be taught to hit in the conventional form that we see today. Pretty amazing.
That's what I did wrong.
Here's Tyler Flowers riding a 3-game hit streak and hits in 11 of his last 13 games. And there's that slider from Ross, starting to get it snap over the outside corner. Strike 1 for the Atlanta catcher.
Joe, it'll be interesting to see this offseason what the Braves decide to do with catching.
Yeah, I'll be very interested to see what happens because the combination has been good.
It's been awesome. And to me, it takes a certain type of person to do what they do. Know that, okay, even if I get 2 hits and a big RBI, or, you know, there's a good chance I'm not playing the next day.
Yes. And there's no one really pushing them.
Back to the mound. Ross has that, and he'll flip to Hosmer at first for the second out.
I think that's why I was asking the question. It's not like we got some guy in AAA knocking down the door.
No, and AA is the kid named Jackson, Alex Jackson, that the Braves got from the Mariners, and I think he's about the closest thing to a prospect that might be pushing.
Yeah, Alex has hit a couple of homers in his last 2 games for the AA Braves. He got some time in spring training, so I would assume if he has a good year, he'll get a look in spring training next year, or perhaps in September if he finishes the AA season in good form. But yeah, a great combo, Flowers and Suzuki here in Atlanta. Juan Camargo takes a strike. Ross and Sanchez on their games early. 6 up, 6 down for Anibal, 5 up, 5 down for Ross, who just missed there, 1 and 2.
That win at Miami, he pitched into the 6th inning, gave up 6 hits and 3 earned runs, walked 2.
To the right side, and Perella gets a friendly hop and the flip to first in time, and the Braves are out of luck in the second. feature presented by Old Dominion, the official freight carrier of Major League Baseball.
His numbers against the National League West, outstanding. 30 starts in his career, sub-3 ERA. However, 0-2 a lifetime against the Padres with a 2.76 ERA.
6 up, 6 down for him. Manuel Margot leads off. A.J. Ellis and then Tyson Ross for the 33-37 Padres, who begin play tonight just 5.5 games out of the Western Division lead.
Yeah, how about that?
Pretty incredible.
I've been surprised. I thought Arizona honestly would run away with that thing when everybody else started scuffling.
They were trying to, and they hit a cold snap.
Well, San Diego bottomed out on May 11th. They were 14-26, 12 games under 500. Do the math. They're 33-37, gone 19-11 since then, winning 5 consecutive series. And Andy Green's club currently, as Joe said in our opening comments, riding an 11-4 mark in their last 15 games. Two balls and a strike for Margot, the former Red Sox farmhand, and he lifts this one to left. Preston Tucker into the sunny spot in left, makes the catch. Margot's retired for out number 1.
You know, all the years we play the Padres, they had some starters sometimes. Obviously, yeah, you had your Jake Peavy and your guys, but they had some guys that weren't that good. But you said, Joe, the one thing that they have had since I came up in '05 was a bullpen. Every year they tend to have guys that come in, and even guys you don't know about until you get out there and you're like, where did this guy come from?
Luke Gregerson is a guy who has made a name for himself in the big leagues, but it started in San Diego. And I remember the first time I saw him, I thought, where did this guy come from? And they tend to do that every year.
Yeah, that was one of those guys. I remember you used to want to face Heath Bell in the 9th inning because you didn't want to see Gregerson in the 8th inning.
Well, Brian Snitker was talking about that before the game in his dugout press conference. Phil Wellman is apparently the Padres AA manager
in San Antonio.
We got a lot of great arms in the bullpen at AA that may be on their way to San Diego soon.
I talked to Phil quite a bit still. You know, I've always said he was the guy that, as my hitting coach, did the most for me in AA to get me up here. And I always laugh. I'm asking him how it is in San Antonio. He said, I'm going to die managing here.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And a line drive over second. A.J. Ellis has the first hit of the game.
Nice piece of hitting there. Behind in the count. He's faced Anibal before, but he didn't have an official at bat. He had a walk and a sacrifice fly. And now he's got a base hit.
You know, one thing I love about watching Anibal pitch is he's so in control all the time, even when he's giving up some hits and a few runs. And one thing that people haven't realized is you go watch during the game when he's not pitching, talk about sitting by Mike Soroka, talk about Newcomb and these guys, and teaching them how to pitch. And situations. He's been so good for them with that.
Interesting first sequence there. No sign of a bunt. Something the Padres have been doing a lot more of late. And no sign again. A strike. Padres had 9 sacrifice bunts in their first 54 games. Coming into action tonight, 7 sacrifices in their last 16 games, but not here.
It's funny, and they've been winning in their more recent games.
It's a bold strategy.
0-2 pitch. And lifted out of play, foul.
Yeah, very innovative.
Yeah, I guess Andy Green really likes the Ross Sanchez matchup.
Tyson not the only Ross to be a big league pitcher. Remember Joe Ross? He was with the Nationals.
Yeah, where's he now?
That's his brother. And he just took strike 3. Something off speed floated up there, and Tyson couldn't pull the trigger. No bunt, no advance, 2 outs, and Perella the hitter.
I'd kind of like to know after the game if someone asked him, why did you not bunt him there? I'm just curious. It's not like Tyson Ross has been a big hitter. It's like Madison Bumgarner's up there.
No, it's not. And that first run means a lot in most cases.
So here's Perella. He flied out to deep left in the first inning. And is pushed off the plate, a strike.
I think what blows me away about this Perella is out in San Diego, we saw him hit a lot of balls hard. And you saw him the first a deep ball, but he's got 264 ABs and no home runs.
Which is a real stretch from last year. He had a few homers.
Ground ball hit right to Ozzie. He's got it. And the inning is over. A.J. Ellis has the game's first hit, but still no runs. Braves coming up in the home third. Third inning, Inciarte, Tucker, and Anibal Sanchez before a big crowd here at SunTrust Park. Let's take a look at our Lowe's whole team together feature. Braves starting to take advantage, fellas, of the home digs here at SunTrust.
I love the extra base hits and the home runs last 12 games. You know, they're 9-3, but and this ballpark's not playing small like it played the last time San Diego came to town.
And that worked out real well for Atlanta. The first 4 games ever played here, they've swept them.
Let me tell you, you score 5 runs a game, especially at home, you're going to win a lot of ball games.
See if Ender can lead off the third inning successfully. He takes a strike. Mentioned Tyson Ross's brother Joe. Joe's on the 60-day disabled list with the Nationals. He's undergone Tommy John surgery and is expected to miss the whole season. That's across the shoe. Tops even count.
I always remember one thing I really respected about San Diego was when they let Tyson Ross miss a couple days and fly to Washington to see his brother make his debut.
Right, I remember that.
I thought that was really cool.
Up the middle, Galvis tried a bare hand play and couldn't come up with it. So all of a sudden, Ender's starting to heat up. That's 5 hits in his last 4 games, and he is the first Braves base runner of the night.
He had a good series against the Mets. 3 for 7. Had that one game where he had a couple of knocks, couple of RBIs, 2 stolen bases.
Yeah, I saw a couple of his at bats Tuesday night. One thing I really liked that I actually told him today was I said that, you know, he got jammed a little bit and hit it that way. And it's one thing I always remember. A lot of the guys from TP to Chipper always say, hey, listen, you get jammed, you have a chance to bloop one out there. When you get out in front and hit a ground ball, you're out.
Yeah.
You know, 95% of the time.
That's what I was always told. If you're not getting jammed once in a while, then you're not swinging right.
You're right.
Yeah, game one against the Mets, Ender had 2 go-ahead hits on those jam jobs over short. That has to do a world for his confidence.
Well, it just loosens your shoulders up. All of a sudden, you feel like you got a 50-pound log off you. You're contributing. You're getting back into the flow.
So now the cat and mouse game begins. Ender with 20 stolen bases. Will he be running with Tucker in the box? Well, with that pitch, which is missed, 0-2.
There was a slider and a cutter. Cutter's at about 91 to 92. That was a slider and a good one.
Preston making his first start since June 3rd for the Braves. Most of his action has been as a pinch hitter. The 0-2 is swung on and missed, and 3 pitches takes care of Tucker. 2 strikeouts for Ross, and now Sanchez will try to advance Ender with 1 out.
Nice change up there. Oh, there's a slider. I beg your pardon.
Yeah,
Just
went
took a
right
little
back
off.
to it.
Well, that's got to be tough. Hitting any major league pitch has to be horribly difficult, and then when a hitter has to deal with a starter changing speeds with all of his pitches, good luck. That was a real effective sequence by Ross for the first out of the 3rd inning.
He's got a real high strikeout to innings pitched per 9 innings pitched on the road. It's 11 per 9 innings.
And a ball charged to strike. It's 0-1. Looking for his first sacrifice of the year. Swinging this time, and it's out of play.
Guess
Corey Spangenberg just about had a heart attack.
Yeah, and I guess the pitchers today feel like they're getting ready to hit today.
That's right.
They're feeling good with the bat in their hand.
Ender broke towards second, then got back to first, and there's the bunt. He got it down with 2 strikes. Wow, that was beautiful.
That was softened nicely.
Ender's lucky he didn't get picked off right there.
Breaking ball, too. Now, Ender broke early yesterday, you might remember, after hustling and making a double, and then got picked off by DeGrom.
I was talking to Eric Young today. He called me over talking about that play yesterday and with Ender, and he said it cracks me up with Ender, though. He forgets that he's one of the top stolen base guys in baseball. He's like, he almost thinks he hides out there like he's invisible. And he's like, I have to remind him that you don't surprise anybody anymore. They think you're running. And I think that's the big thing he was just kind of talking about, was you got to pick your spots and you got to be smart.
Yeah, don't assume that they've forgotten about you.
Well, like we saw with Jacob DeGrom yesterday, the first run could be very big for Atlanta. Take a little pressure off, give Sanchez something to work with here. And here comes the first to Ozzie Albies, and that bounced up. Ball 1.
I was patting Ron Washington on the back for waving Dansby home for that first run yesterday, and he said, oh no, he said that was Dansby. Dansby made that happen in true Ron Washington fashion.
And I love Wash. He's aggressive out there. He wants to score runs, and I'm okay with that.
1 ball, no strikes. They're shading Ozzie way around toward right. Margot in center is good 15-20 yards toward the right fielder Reyes. Renfroe is a plodding runner in left. He's got a lot of ground to cover if Ozzie hits one the other way here. 1 ball, 1 strike. He is pulled foul.
I believe I'd play him that way too. I don't, other than a soft base hit up the middle to the left side of the mound in Los Angeles, I don't remember him hitting a fly ball to left field.
Yeah, he likes down that right field line and right center gap. Those are his two places.
So he's behind in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ender at second after the infield hit and sacrifice. And Ross brings it. And that one's up the middle. Galvis can't get it. Here comes Ender. He will score without a throw. Nobody's covering second. Foot race to the bag, and he beats the play.
Nobody at third.
That's some heads-up base running right there.
Yes, sir. How about Margot? Margot is realizing too, I got nobody.
I'll be honest, I think Ozzie looked at Margot starting to sprint, Joe, and that's when he went. He's like, oh man, there's nobody there. I think Ozzie turns hard and kind of looks, and then you can see Margot here just.
Well, Spangenberg broke for second. The whole infield broke for second, and then nobody was at third, and Ron Washington said, stay right there. As the Braves have their 144th 2-out run this year, it puts them up 1-0 here in the bottom of the 3rd inning.
They're scoring at a double.
So 20 of those for Albies and 41 runs batted in.
You know what, Joe, though? You kind of have to, don't you?
Yeah.
You can't give it an error. It's not like you. Boy, that's a great double right there. It's one of the better ones I've seen.
You don't often see the center fielder trying to beat you to the bag at second.
No balls, 1 strike. If he had, I don't think I've ever seen an 8 unassisted putout at second base in a major league game. Luckily, it didn't come to that.
Pirello's the one that went to sleep at second base, even though he's in a shift. Certainly should have been moving that way on a ground ball up the middle.
Yeah, I would imagine that's his bag there.
Yeah.
1 ball, 1 strike. And Dansby lifts one into shallow left. Renfroe is there, and the Braves have tallied the game's first run. An infield hit by Ender, a sacrifice by Sanchez, and a hustle double for Ozzie makes it 1-0 Braves. First, $1.5 million has been raised in the challenge. You can make a pledge by going to homerunchallenge.org. Freddie Freeman has added to those Financial totals the last 3 games with homers in each of the last 3 for Atlanta, something he's never done before. As Atlanta goes to the 4th, leading 1-0 here in game 1 with San Diego. Corey Spangenberg the batter. How about Anibal Sanchez? Key play in the game. A 2-strike sacrifice bunt, his first of the year, led to Ender's run scoring play.
Well, I think we talk about how, sorry Joe, how important it is to get sack bunts down. You know, Anibal did it. He got rewarded. He gets a run. Tyson Ross, they never even tried it. And it could have cost them a run.
Yeah. They just put a runner in scoring position with 2 outs. That's all you're
Who
trying
wants
to
do
there.
that?
Yeah.
1-2 for Spangenberg.
I was thinking what's impressive too is San Diego's done this without Will Myers, one of their top players.
Ground ball to second. Backhand play by Ozzie. That time 1 out.
Yeah, he and Franchi Cordero went on their rehab assignments, started the rehab assignments today. Austin also missing Austin Hedges, one of their catchers.
Hedges is playing in rehab games, but he may be back for them when they get home from the road trip. We probably won't see him here in Atlanta.
I'd imagine Myers is going to have to probably have at least a week. He's been out a while, hasn't he?
April 29th.
Yeah.
And oblique too.
Here's Hosmer. He popped out to end the first.
He had a very improbable game against the Braves that last game in San Diego. Struck out 4 straight times.
Yeah, Fulte carved him. He ate his lunch.
Yeah, Mike had him swinging stuff that was almost hitting him.
Yeah, those cutters were just sliders were back, bearing him the back foot.
Yeah, talked to Mike today about his triceps. He said everything feels all right, and he's hopeful of making his next start. Swing and a miss. Won't pitch in this series. Then the Braves have an off day. Then we go to Toronto for a day-night 2-game series, and then come back to Atlanta to face Baltimore and the Reds. Swing and a miss. Hosmer is down on strikes. 61 strikeouts for the San Diego first baseman. Number 3 tonight for Anibal.
He had some vicious cuts at Sanchez the first at bat, and now all of a sudden the changeup doubled up on it, got him to wave at it. Great job.
Yeah, one thing Haas does is he's got a big swing. It's under control, don't get me wrong, but it's a big swing, and I think with Anibal you just can't go out there having a big swing. He wants you to do that. He'll carve you up.
That's something Joe and I talked about, Jeff, when Anibal pitched against the Dodgers. In this era where everyone throws in the mid-90s, what a treat it is to see a man pitch like Sanchez does. Change speeds, move the ball in and out, up and down. And the struggles that hitters have in making that adjustment now.
I always say, I faced Chapman 2 years ago. I faced, who else throwing 99? All these guys, big slider. Tell you the best pitcher I faced, hardest ABs, was when we faced the Cubs and I faced Rick Hendricks, and he didn't hit 90 one time. But gosh, he got you thinking the whole time your AB, working you in and out.
Well, by Anibal's own admission, there's that 65-mile-an-hour floater. He was stubborn to become this type of pitcher. You know, he was always relying on stuff, throwing hard. He's made his own adjustments to this.
Yeah, sir. I think it was Kyle Hendricks. I think I said, Chip told me, I said, I think Rick Hendricks is the NASCAR guy, isn't he?
Yes.
He can change speed, so he can shift.
You're right.
2-2 pitch. Strike 3, a floater at 71 miles an hour. And look at Renfroe. He can't believe it. Anibal pitching a beauty again. 1-0 Atlanta. Freddie Freeman leads off for the Braves against Tyson Ross here in game 1. 3, 4, and 5 coming up for the Braves, who are 27-11 this year when they score the first run of the game. And scoring runs against the Padres has not been a problem for Freddie. He's our Georgia lottery hitting the jackpot.
How about it? 8 homers, 27 driven in, 28 scored. They're probably a lot like Rick Honeycutt was with the Dodgers. How do you get Freddie Freeman out?
Nobody's had much luck lately.
No.
Freddie's 13 for his last 28 with 5 homers.
Tell you though, Ross made a good pitch on him in the first inning, that changeup away. Don't go in there though.
I tell you, I just started Twitter this year and going through all that. I about had my first Twitter heart attack in LA when I was talking about how Freddie I thought was the best in baseball at going opposite field. I said I think of it, and some lady said no and sent me all these names. Gotten a couple back and forths with her direct message, and I'm like, what am I doing here? I'm arguing with this lady, but I'm like, if you don't tell me right now if you don't think Freddie's one of the best hitters in baseball, much less the best opposite field hitter, you're crazy.
And Hosmer barely beat him to first. And there's the first out of the 4th inning. Interesting defensive alignment for the Padres there. No shift that time for Freeman, who rolled over the first baseman.
Except for Hosmer, who was near the line, and that's another reason we all love Freddie, is because he didn't just go through the motions to get to first base. Hustling down the line.
Got him by a half step. So here's Nick Markakis. Keep on voting for Nick and Freddie and Ozzie, all your favorite Braves on the All-Star ballot. Do that at Braves.com. Nick Markakis with 2,140 career hits. More hits than any other active player never to have made an All-Star team.
Tell you, Mark Rippinger behind the plate tonight, Joe. He's given some room off the plate, which for us is a good thing with Anibal going.
Sure.
But he's been consistent on both sides.
No balls, 2 strikes. And another tapper rolled foul. The All-Star game first started being played in 1933. There have been 143 other major league players with at least 2,140 career hits. Every single one, with the exception of Juan Pierre, made at least one All-Star team.
I was thinking we'd seen Rippinger lately, and we have. First game in San Diego, coincidentally.
There you go.
In the crew with Jerry Davis.
Another chance for Hosmer. Big hop this time. He'll lead his pitcher to the bag. 2 outs, and the ground ball outs piling up for Tyson Ross tonight. That's 7 of them out of the 11 outs he's picked up. Here's Tyler. He tapped back to the mound his first time up.
If you think about it, Juan Pierre probably would have made an All-Star game if he played in any other era except that 10-year period.
Yeah,
because you basically, if you didn't hit 40 home runs as an outfielder, you weren't going to the All-Star game.
Yeah, he picked up a ton of hits and a ton of stolen bases, but that was the old chicks dig the long ball era, not the singles.
His bank account got healthy, though.
Lefty righty splits for Ross. There's one of the guys who's hitting a ton of homers. Check this out. What a difference, left and right-handed. Right-handers only $166. That slider and cutter very effective to them.
Especially when you know you got that sinker coming in, and when he works the inside part of the plate with that, like that right there, and now you feel like you got to think about that, but he's also got a nasty slider cutter.
He's matching Sanchez pitch for pitch tonight. Well, Tyler behind 1 and 2 and protected the plate. Yeah, you saw that shot of Mark McGwire. He's the Padres bench coach. The Padres came from St. Louis, where the Cardinal fans saluted McGuire on the 20th anniversary of his home run chase with Sammy Sosa. Hard to believe that was 20 years ago. Time flies. Fouled away over the screen. Still 1-2.
Especially as close to it as you were, Chip, watching Sammy every day.
It was something.
And I know y'all were closer back then. I mean, I was obviously younger, but that was by far the most exciting summer of my childhood. And I know it was tainted and everything you talk about now, but so much fun knowing every day it seemed like one of those guys was going deep.
Sammy hit one in the afternoon. McGuire hit one at night. You had a race within a pennant race as Flowers wears one. And he'll make his way to first base with a 2-out hit by pitch. For me, the most indelible moment of that big home run that McGuire hit in St. Louis. As you see, Tyler Flowers. Ooh, where'd that get him? Hit the hand?
I almost like it missed his arm and hit him in the back of the hand. May have gotten both.
I think it got his little tricep and into his hand.
He quit wearing that elbow guard. I wish he'd go back to it. I bet he does too.
Yeah. After McGuire hit number 62, the late great voice of the Cardinals, Jack Buck, was behind the microphone. And Jack Buck, who knew Roger Maris, been there for so many great moments in Cardinal history, was standing and applauding with tears streaming down his face as that celebration took place. Amazing. Spangenberg at third will take care of Camargo, and that takes care of Atlanta in the 4th inning. Braves enjoy a 1-0 lead over the Padres at SunTrust Park. On a beautiful night, warm, muggy evening at SunTrust Park, and Naval Sanchez looking good. He's allowed just one Padres hit. Reyes, Galvis, and Margot coming up in the 5th inning. It's brought to you by Audi Q5. Reyes, Galvis, and Margot. Reyes struck out in the 2nd inning, the first of 4 strikeout victims for Anibal so far in the game. A strike to the 22-year-old 6'5", 275 outfielder Franmil Reyes.
And if you stood by him in batting practice, you know he's every bit of that.
Lifted toward right, but he got it off the end of the bat. And Markakis is in perfect position. There's out number 1. 6 up, 6 down for Sanchez, who retired the first 7 he saw tonight. And here's Galvis. Galvis came from the Phillies for right-handed pitcher Enyel De Los Santos right before Christmas time. And I think to a man, the Braves were happy to see him depart for the West Coast with all the damage he did to the Braves as a member of the Phillies. A really good player. And that's fouled away. 0-2.
Well, I'm sure Matt Stairs, who's the hitting coach for the Padres, former broadcaster for the Phillies, had a lot of influence on, hey, this guy's available. Are you kidding me? Make the call.
No balls, 2 strikes. Plan for the Phillies was J.P. Crawford to be the starting shortstop as Galvis is down on strikes.
At Rooms to Go, you can go any way you want. Go style, go savings, go today.
But J.P. Crawford for the Phillies has struggled so mightily that Scott Kingery is now their everyday shortstop.
Crawford got hurt and cost him his job, I guess.
Phillies were winners today. They beat Colorado 9-3.
Watch this guy's strikeout pitch. He shook off 2 or 3 signs from Tyler, and he wanted the fastball in. No. No, no, no.
Margot to right center. Pretty well struck, but Ender is there. He's got it shy of the track.
We'll finish it when we come back.
Sanchez rolling through 5. He's coming up third with a 1-0 lead.
Tyler's giving some signs, shaking it off. He finally gets the sign for fastball in. Yep. Where'd he throw it? Right on the inside corner. I mean, that is dotting it. Two-seamer may have backed up a little bit. Exactly what he wanted to do and where he wanted to put it.
So 5 Padres have struck out. Sanchez has set down 8 straight. He and Tyler are working beautifully so far tonight. And Ender Inciarte leads off, the only man to touch the plate to this point. Ender, an infield hit. Took second on a sacrifice and then scored on Ozzy's double on a ground ball up the middle. Swing and a drive deep toward right field. That ball is belted and gone. Go, Ender, go. That's 6 hits in his last 4 games.
It's like you said, Chip, when he got those 2 flares to left field, sometimes that's what'll get you going, and that cutter came right into the barrel. Heads up in the deep fryer out there. because that cleared the seats.
We talk about it. Like you said, you get jammed, you start to feel better about yourself, and next thing you know, you're comfortable, you feel relaxed, and boom, that happens.
Ender's first home run in exactly a month.
Yeah, that had to feel really good.
It was May 15th against Yu Darvish and the Cubs, so a little more breathing room for the Braves now. It's 2-0. The 8th home run given up by Ross this year. And now Preston Tucker, the batter. And he's behind 1-2.
Preston's on his heels a little bit, but that's not surprising when you haven't had any consistent at bats. They've been pinch hit appearances. It's hard to keep your rhythm.
Especially when you got someone like Tyson Ross who's got really good stuff out there. Can work it back and keeps throwing that back foot slider. That's tough to lay off when you haven't seen pitching.
That's off the plate. And a rare full count for the Padres right-hander.
Good cut there to stay alive.
I'll tell you one thing that's changed is 3-2 used to be fastball 80% of the time, and now I feel like it's a straight off-speed pitch almost every time.
Swing and a miss. Tucker down on strikes for the second time. And that's the first out of the Atlanta fifth. And a ball will bat. With the bases empty. Ross up to 70 pitches with one away in the inning. Again, Sanchez has beaten every big league team except San Diego and the Angels. He took care of his winless drought against the Dodgers in his last outing. Pitched great. 2 runs in 5 1/3 innings out at Dodger Stadium. In fact, his last 2 games, as Joe said, 10 strikeouts, 2 earned runs in 12 1/3 innings, not counting his 5 scoreless tonight.
Yeah, his longest outing so far was that 7-inning stint against the Nationals here, and only gave up 2 hits and 2 unearned runs, but got a no decision, and only threw 94 pitches in those 7 innings.
That's hit towards second. Perella gave ground. Flips it to first in time for out number 2. So back to the top we go. Ozzie Albies. He has the other Braves RBI, a hustle double in the 3rd. A leadoff homer by Inciarte in this 5th inning extends the lead to 2-0.
It's pretty amazing to think as long as Anibal was with Florida, he never won versus LA or San Diego.
Pitched well against them both, but
he just never could get the win.
So he'd be a guy that, at least against those 2 clubs, would say, get rid of the win stat. Something Jacob deGrom might be wishing was the case now, too.
Yeah. You know, Anibal started with the Red Sox and was in that big deal with Hanley Ramirez to go to Florida.
That was a blockbuster trade, if you think and look back now, because they were all, for the most part, impact players.
Yes, they were.
Wasn't like one stud, you know, and then you had these other guys. I mean, you had Hanley Ramirez,
Josh Beckett,
Mike Lowell, who ended up being a huge piece of that Red Sox World Series.
Gigantic. What a good player.
He made a living off that left field wall up there in Boston. Nobody did it better.
Speaking of Hanley Ramirez, are you guys surprised nobody's picked him up or at least thought about it?
I'm surprised. I keep looking every day to see who's going to sign him and send him somewhere to, you know, like on a rehab almost to get some timing back, because it doesn't cost him anything. Just the minimum.
I think the thing that's hurting him is really there's only a handful of teams that need him. I mean, I think he's a DH now. I don't see where you're going to play him. If you're in a race and you need any defense, he's not your guy. Just the way the game's going a little bit, I think the days of those guys getting another chance and getting another chance is just becoming less and less.
Full count pitch. And sprayed to the left side, foul by Ozzie. Still a full count.
There may be another side to that too. Maybe he doesn't want to play.
He's getting paid no matter what.
Yeah,
Right.
you know, I never really thought of that.
Maybe he's not all that interested.
You know, Ronald Acuna wants to play. I'm sure Kelsey will have an update on him a little later on. Is that just missed? Ross thought he had him struck out. And that ends San Diego's very impressive streak without issuing a walk. It comes to a close at 32 2/3 innings. And clearly off the plate.
You had to hold your breath, though, because as we said, Mark Rippinger's been given that pitch. That was just a little too far.
32 2/3 is pretty impressive for a staff, but it doesn't do justice to what Corey Kluber has rolling. He hasn't walked a batter in 168, I believe, consecutive hitters.
That is outstanding. That's Greg Maddux like.
You know, you talk to so many people that tell me John Smoltz had the best slider they ever faced. Corey Kluber had the best slider I ever faced.
Really?
That thing is just, it moves so much. It's not fair.
Dansby the batter. He's lined out and flied out tonight. We don't see the Indians very often. Jeff, you obviously played against Kluber. For our fans and for us, who in our league would he remind you the most of, so our fans can get a mental comparison? Is there anybody that comes to mind?
Not with that slider.
No?
Other stuff, yeah, but I remember when I was with Kansas City and I was struggling one time and I faced Kluber and Ned put me in the lineup, and I remember after my first AB walking back by and I was like, Ned, I have no chance. Might as well put someone else in and saves me the hat trick today. But it was just, he hit his spots and he knew how to pitch. I mean, he's been everything and more Cleveland could ask for.
Cy Young Award winner.
And that's the type of guy that I really, when I look at Mike Soroka, I'm like, I want him to follow this mold, because he's a guy to me that wants to throw 200 innings. Talking to Soroka, he gets what that type of pitcher is.
Ozzie's running the pitch outside. Ellis's throw to second is going to be in time. What a throw by A.J. Ellis to throw out Ozzie Albies, who's caught stealing for the third time this year. Atlanta might be taking a look at this bang bang play at second base. And for the moment, Atlanta will settle for the home run for Ender Inciarte.
Good jump too, but Ellis got a pitch that was almost like a pitch out. It's like they got him on the back before his hand got there.
So Albies is retired. No challenge by Atlanta. Ender's homer makes it 2-0 Atlanta, and that's where we stand after 5 complete at SunTrust Park.
our SunTrust confidence play, because look at the work he has put in today. 5 innings, no earned runs, no walks on 57 pitches. And if you saw the top of the 4th inning, he ended it with what he likes to call his butterfly pitch, his special pitch. It was 71 miles per hour. We saw it in LA at 66 miles per hour, and he said he first used it in the playoffs back in 2012 with the Tigers. Now he uses it to get out of jams. And Jeff, you had 29 at bats versus him. You've seen him. Do you think you could get a hit off that?
Yeah, why not? He's got to hang something.
Of course he does.
Yeah, why not? I'll strike out quite a bit, but I'll get a knock. How about this? We're talking about pitching. My buddy sent me on this date, Nolan Ryan pitched 13 innings through 235 pitches and struck out 19.
That's exactly right.
Oh, my goodness.
And then
made his next start, I think 3 or 4 days later, and got the win.
Was that when his commercial started with Advil? Remember, he did the Advil.
Yeah.
Oh,
Can you imagine the outcry that there would be if a pitcher did that? I mean, that's, quite frankly, and I say this respectfully, that's 3, almost 4 starts in today's game.
Sure is.
For a starting pitcher. And that was the first of 3 19 strikeout games he had that year. Ground ball past Camargo and down the line. Ellis has both San Diego hits. And he's on his way to second as Tucker has a little trouble. No harm, no foul. Ellis would have reached second anyway. And now we'll see if the Padres bunt with a runner at second and nobody out here, trailing by 2.
I don't know what the deal is with Ellis. He's supposed to hit the Braves hard out west, but not here at home. And tonight he's 2 for 2. Johan thinks he ought to catch everything.
I know. I love that about him.
Me too.
We'll see if they decide to bunt Tyson Ross this time.
Yeah.
He shows it and bunts it foul. Strike 1.
That was one thing about talking to Soroka that I really enjoyed a little bit today. Was it's his 4th start in the big leagues, and he's sitting here talking to me about pitching to contact, limiting his pitch count. Have you ever heard a 20-year-old talk like that?
Nope.
I remember most young guys I ever played with, they were going for the punch out. They wanted the K, the nasty stuff. You know, if it's in 3 weeks, he's got a chance to throw a complete game yesterday.
No balls and a strike. And another bunt try, foul. Again, he's not pitching in this series. And if everything works out right, and assuming he's still on the roster, the Braves will have to make a move when Julio Teheran comes off. He's a Canadian kid. Guess where he could pitch?
I hope that works out.
Wouldn't that be great?
I think that'd be great.
In Toronto against the Blue Jays. Earlier this year, had another Canadian kid come to town and throw a no-hitter against him.
And
James
they gave
Paxton,
him a standing O.
for the Seattle Mariners. No balls, 2 strikes. And that missed inside. It's 1-2.
I would say if that happens, Chris Reitsma's probably going to be making a trip.
You know it. He was a proud coach yesterday, that's for sure.
He certainly was proud in New York when Mike made his big league debut against the Mets. Chris was kind enough to join us from the stands while Mike was pitching. It was great. The pitch. He got it down with 2 strikes, and Anibal will make the throw to first. Both pitchers with 2 strike sacrifices tonight. Ellis to third, and the top of the order coming up.
I'll tell you what, at this day, you know, when I'm not calling a game with y'all or doing a couple radios that I've done on the road when I got to see Acuna play, that was one of those games this year with Soroka in New York that I made it a point to be home in front of my TV to watch that game. You know, just because of all the talk you've heard about him. But like I said, the best thing about it, Joe, is when you talk to him, he's a better kid.
Oh yeah.
Better. Call him a kid. I guess he is. He's
beyond
better.
His years. Yeah.
That's my point. It's so much fun to just talk pitching and ball with him because he's so smart.
Well, that was the night that the Braves had the 3 youngest players in the major leagues
that was awesome.
in the lineup.
Albies, Acuna, and Soroka.
If that doesn't get you excited about.
Yeah, Mike on May 1st went 6 innings, 6 hits, 1 run, no walks in his big league debut in New York against the Mets, who at the time were in first place.
Well, I said, you think about it, Freddie's not that old. You look at Dansby's not. I said, Nick's got to feel ancient out there.
Nick, that was Jeff that said that. Strike one to Perella, who is 0 for 2. 2-0 Atlanta. Ellis led off with a double, sacrificed to third by Ross. Sandoval will work out of the windup here. Very short lead at third base. And time called.
Showed you these numbers at the beginning of the show tonight. Situational averages against on a ball, a 190 average with runners in scoring position.
That's hit to third. That is a fair ball. It's off Camargo's glove. Long throw to first, off target, and Freddie comes off the bag and saves an errant throw.
I think everybody's confused right there.
Yeah,
Perella didn't even run.
Johan thought it was foul.
So did Perella. Look, he stopped right here.
Well, I don't know. The young umpire, Nick Marley at third base, he may have been screened a little bit on that.
And that's you can't challenge that, right?
No.
It's got to be behind the bag.
Just got to go over it. And according to Nick, it did.
So the Padres have runners at first and third with one out. Here's Spangenberg. Let's see if Anibal can get a ground ball and a double play and get out of the inning. And Spangenberg tore up the Braves out west. Run scoring chance for him here in the 6th. And yanked foul toward the Braves dugout. Strike one.
Boy, Joe, that'd been a nice play to have too, because you would have kept Ellis at third base.
Well, and Johan, anytime he's got a chance to throw, he's going to throw. He just
He
in
could
his
never get
mind
a
is
hold of
foul
the ball.
Yeah.
The 0-1 pitch. Just inside, even count. .69 pitches for Sanchez. He's thrown 12 in this 6th inning.
51 strikes.
Little pop. That'll be the second out. And Dansby makes the play. You know what? Spangenberg didn't run. Dansby could have just dropped that ball, stepped on the bag, and thrown to first. It would have been an easy double play.
How do you not run? It's natural baseball instinct when you make contact with the bat. If you've been playing this long, if you hit the ball, you run.
I can tell you what right now. I know I'm old school of certain things, but see right there?
Yeah.
You know where he is for me the rest of the night?
In the showers right now.
Well, yeah. Riding Piner, like you said, hit the showers.
Yeah. What are you doing?
So now Hosmer hits with 2 on, 2 out. And he's down a strike. I'm assuming instinct takes over as an infielder. You want to catch that ball. But boy, if Dansby drops that, steps on the bag, you get the double play. You don't have to face Hosmer in this situation.
That's when you wish he did, because you embarrassed him then.
True. Good stop by Flowers. It's an even count. Giants were winners today. They beat the Marlins 6-3, but Joe, it took them overtime, huh?
16 innings on a getaway day for the Giants.
Going back to the West Coast.
Then have to go to LA tonight and play tomorrow.
There's nothing fun about 16 innings.
Popped him up. Camargo in foul ground. He's got plenty of room, and the magician Anibal Sanchez gets out of 6th inning trouble. 2-0 Atlanta in front. The Bravos don't forget Ender Inciarte either. After 5.5 innings, game one going Atlanta's way. You'll see the particulars coming up on our game summary tonight at SunTrust Park. And our game summary is presented by Publix.
Ellis with the only damage really so far for the Padres, at least from a threatening standpoint, made it to third base. But Anibal and Ender having a big night already. Good to see for Ender getting back on track.
2-run Atlanta lead. Dansby Swanson leads off and looks inside. Ball one. Very important stretch of home games for the Braves. The Padres for 4, up to Toronto for 2, then home for Baltimore and Cincinnati. All of these clubs Atlanta facing under 500.
When I said a big thing too is I think Washington's got themselves a tough little schedule the next couple weeks.
I know they're in Toronto over the weekend.
Yeah, which is not, I mean, I know we go there, but it's not an easy place to play.
And the Nationals are without Steven Strasburg, who's got a shoulder problem. Fly ball to center. Margot is there. Hardly had to move. 1 out. And Dansby 0 for 3. Don't forget, stay tuned for the middle of the 7th inning. It is the stretch presented by Rooms to Go. Jerome will have all the particulars on that crazy 6-3 Giants win in 16 innings down in Miami today.
Speaking of crazy, had a little fisticuff last night in Los Angeles.
Oh, I love it.
Of course you do.
I love it. I love that action. That's one thing I miss. I miss the catchers getting run over. And
since you were never a catcher.
Yeah, exactly.
Chirinos got run over by Matt Kemp.
We talked about it was a clean play.
It looked like it. Chirinos was pulled into the line. It's like a writer wrote today. If Kemp just tried to go around him, they would have called him safe because he wasn't given a place to go.
Freddie lines one toward Renfroe and left. Who has it? 2 outs. This, folks, is what baseball used to look like on Bang Bang Plays the Plate.
Chirinos took the throw in the line.
And so you talk about it, though. If Matt Kemp slides right there, he probably gets hurt.
Yeah. Cole Hamels.
I like Cole getting a little.
Grabbing him.
You know, my big thing with that, Joe, and I think what started was Chirinos. I think he just was more. They do, you know, almost such a job now of not wanting catchers to get hit that I think it caught him off guard that he got hit. He just thought, oh, it has to be dirty, when it was just a clean play.
Well, there was another side to that, too, where Matt Kemp is concerned because he tore up his ankle a few years ago on a slide at the plate.
And you saw him say that
after
the game. That's a play where back in the day I loved it. You get up, you both pat each other.
Yeah.
And you're done.
There's strike 3. Well, Chirinos probably sensitive to collisions. He missed an entire season because of concussion problems. Came out of that one okay last night, though, as we head to the 7th. 2-0 Atlanta.
yet again. They were out by the bay in a matinee, and Justin Verlander, he was just throwing BBs. 7 strikeouts over 7 innings. He won his 9th of the year. And boy, when the A's couldn't figure him out, they couldn't get one by our buddy Brian McCann, who launched his 5th of the year. Houston has now won 8 in a row, 7-3 out in Oakland, and just 3 outs during the stretch. We'll have National League East highlights for you, fellas.
Wow, that was a long one from B-Mac.
Hunter Renfroe pops the first pitch up into shallow left. Dansby drifts back. 1 pitch, 1 out, 7th inning.
I'll tell you what impressed me about that was the fact that B-Mac played a day game. He got up this morning, huh?
Wow.
Oh, I hope he's on the satellite watching.
By the way, you guys know what Justin Verlander's record is since he put on an Astros uniform?
I don't know. I'd have to say 18-1.
Close. 13-2. A 106 ERA last year, 145 ERA this year. Line drive by Reyes on the first pitch. And Ender's going to cut that off in the gap. Here comes the throw to second. It's going to be late. Ball dropped. No matter. It's a 1-out double for Reyes, who hit a screaming Mimi up the middle.
Stayed in the yard, though. Tell you what, he runs pretty well for a big man, too.
So let's see if that approach changes for the rest of the Padres lineup. Both hitters went after the first pitch here in the 7th inning. And as Joe mentioned, Anibal has not pitched this deeply into the game all that often for the Braves. That'll get the bullpen busy.
Well, what's unbelievable to me is 56 strikes and 75 pitches.
Yeah, his pitch count's just fine. And this seems to be when he's at his best, when he's got to try to prevent a run. 94 pitches on that 7-inning stint against Washington 2 starts ago.
Yeah, teams hitting 190 against him with runners in scoring position. With Hosmer's pop out, they're now 1 for 11 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. Truly Houdini-like work by Anibal Sanchez. And that's upstairs for Freddie. 1 ball, 1 strike. One other National League game later on tonight. The Mets continue what figures to be a real rough road trip. They start a 4-game series in Arizona with the Diamondbacks tonight. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Galvis behind 1-2.
Yeah, Mickey Callaway's probably got to experience everything he could experience in the first 2 months of the season in New York.
Sure has.
Got off the 11-1 start. They're probably thinking manager of the year, and now everybody wants him out of there.
1-2 count. There's that butterfly, and it's 68 miles an hour. Galvis got a piece of it to stay alive. The 1-2 lined out of play. Don't forget to stay with us after the Padres are retired here in the 7th. It's the stretch presented by Rooms to Go. We'll have some National League highlights for you. Reyes second, big lead. The pitch lined over first, but that is curling foul. Hey, what a great grab.
I don't know. I think he might have trapped it.
There to go, buddy.
I think we need to see a replay on that.
Oh, we got to hear the Superman music too, don't we?
No, I think he trapped it, Joe. Oh yeah,
Oh,
it's
maybe.
a trap. It's a trap.
Show it though. Lift your show the catch.
It's a great play, but he trapped it.
General Lockbar would be proud. It's a trap. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Ball in the dirt. Flowers pounces. Galvis slams the bat down, 2 away.
Don't get me wrong. It was a great effort.
Just another reason, Jeff, to hate replay. Let the kid have his dream, right? So 2 are out, and here's Manuel Margot.
Well, if he had missed it, he had 2 more baseballs in his back pocket that he could yank one out of his pocket.
Okay.
And a strike to Margot, a man they acquired from the Red Sox, with Javier Guerra, Carlos Asuaje, Logan Allen for Craig Kimbrell. This young man played real well for them last year, 13 homers. And they were hoping he could build on that this year. It hasn't happened yet. Almost got hit. 1 ball, 1 strike. Joe's keys. How would Sanchez do the 3rd time through the lineup? So far, so good. He's had excellent off-speed stuff. So the keys have been excellent. And there's another nubber on that off-speed pitch. He will apply the tag, and we are off to the stretch. 2-0 Atlanta in game 1.
The Stretch is brought to you by
Giants do win, a costly win though. Evan Longoria out with a broken finger, hit by a pitch in that game today for San Francisco, so that's not good news.
No, that's a big blow for them.
So Atlanta by 2, home 7th. Ross back out there for San Diego. He's pitched great, but for him it's the same sad story.
You get hit again?
I think so. And A.J. Ellis isn't sure. The Padres might take a look at this. The home plate umpire says Flowers was hit by the pitch. Andy Green watching Mark McGuire await word from the Padres replay room.
I was wondering why Tyler hadn't trotted on to first base, but he's waiting to see if they're going to appeal it. It hit something. He's got that protective guard on the back of his hand.
If anything, it may have grazed the top of his pinky on the way by.
Yeah.
And again, the call was he was hit by the pitch. There has to be enough evidence to say that the ball didn't hit him for Tyler not to be awarded first base here.
Well, Tyler's bottom hand came off the bat immediately after the ball went by, almost like he got pinched.
I think AJ's telling him, come on, man, you're 260 pounds and that hurts.
Can't believe Ross is not throwing a few pitches here.
He's at 93. He might be saying, I got to save all the bullets I got.
Could be.
There is action in the San Diego pen. The Padres are challenging this call. Let's see if we can hear the ball hit something on the way by.
I know I heard the mitt.
You can see AJ there say it didn't hit him. Robbie Erlin is loosening up in their bullpen.
Ellis might be saying to Tyler, if you get first base and you claim this, you're out of the catcher's union.
Yeah, you're right. You see, Ellis just looked at Tyson. You want to throw some? And he said, no, I'm good. There's Cowboy Joe. Still going at it.
It looks like Joe's kind of got that look on his face like, you're going to make me walk all the way across the diamond for that?
Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Boy, there's nothing better than always listen to Andrew Jones and Joe West go at it in the outfield when I'd run by.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, stuff I never thought I'd hear before.
Oh, and this isn't good.
No.
Make a decision and let's play. Game's not on the line here. Let's play.
Andrew asked Joe one time, when are the Twins due, when we were running out to the outfield? And it was the year in '08 when Andrew was hitting about $170. And Joe said, the last time I saw that number up there, I was pumping gas in high school.
And he's going to put him on first base.
Yep. So apparently not enough evidence to overturn the call. It'll stand. So San Diego loses their challenge. Flowers aboard on a hit batsman with nobody out. Look at Ellis won't even look at him as he goes to first base.
He's still miffed about it.
I think you got the impression from Tyler that, you know, you're right. That didn't hit me.
2 minutes and 39 seconds. One of our longer reviews. I will say that the reviews have been a lot faster this year. That one, however, one of the longer ones. And it earns Flowers his second hit batsman of the game. Ross departs, allowing just 2 runs. And now we enter the very good San Diego bullpen in game 1 of the series.
And by SunTrust. Confidence starts here.
2-0 Atlanta. Tyler Flowers the man at first base. Braves try to chop away the Padres for the 5th consecutive time in this park and the 8th consecutive time here in Atlanta. Beautiful night, 87 degrees at first pitch as we take a live look at SunTrust Park from our beautiful Xfinity cam. Robbie Erlin is on in relief of Tyson Ross, who again victimized by a lack of support, the 8th worst supported starting pitcher in the major leagues. As Tyson Ross, he got no runs to play with tonight.
Erlin, low 90s with a curveball and a changeup, ground ball guy. Pretty good sinker.
Yeah, he's been a guy that's, I faced him 2 years ago as a starter. He's been kind of mixed and match back and forth.
Erlin missed all of last season, coming back from Tommy John surgery. Originally with the Texas organization, the Padres got him with Joe Weiland for pitcher Mike Adams. Line softly into center field. That'll get down in front of Margot for a hit. And Atlanta has him first and second. Nobody out, looking for some insurance in what has been the very productive part of the game for the offense. The 7th, 8th, and 9th innings tonight.
Oh, he left that one up. Gave Johan a chance to reach out. Camargo's picking up his share of hits now too, after being finding it a little hard going lately.
Yeah, the location on the plate on that pitch was good. The height, not so much.
Good homestand for Ender Inciarte. 2 more hits tonight, 2 more runs. He hit a home run, his first one of those in a month. And he takes upstairs ball 1. This is the next area for Ender to try to improve, his work against left-handed pitching.
Padres are expecting a bunt. He didn't show it.
And that one got away. Ellis couldn't handle it, and everybody moves up. You don't have to bunt.
Yeah, there's your bunt.
Erlin's all over the place, and he's having a hard time getting the ball down. That was a breaking ball. And Ellis whiffed on it.
You know, the way he went after it, Joe, it almost like he thought a changeup or something was coming, because AJ's a good catcher. You haven't seen him. Think about how many curveballs he caught from Kershaw.
Yeah.
Ender has 5 hits on the homestand. He's knocked in 3 runs. He has scored 3 runs, and he's got a chance for 2 more RBIs in this spot.
He's got some good wood too.
Yeah, and we talk about it. This is a perfect opportunity for Ender to let a ball get deep and try to shoot that little hole right there against the lefty.
This is what Ender did last time up.
Got a breaking ball down and in.
That is our Zaxby's indescribably good play. That one was it with some Zaxby sauce. That was a hard hit ball. His first since May the 15th. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ground ball hit to the right side. Hosmer looks Flowers back. Now the play at first in time, and then Tyler comes home to score and almost runs over the umpire. That worked out.
Why did Hosmer go to first?
I don't know.
Camargo was halfway to third. He thought Tyler was going home. He had Camargo in big trouble, and it cost him a run. Camargo's moving. See, he's hung up.
He had Tyler too if he threw it at the third right there.
Yeah. Wow.
So Atlanta gets the run. Flowers scores on the infield confusion at first. Camargo still at second with 1 out. And now Charlie Culberson will come on and pinch hit for Tucker. Ground ball hit to the left side. Galvis surrounds, throws on the run, and just did get his man. 2 outs. And now Peter Borges will come on and hit for Anibal Sanchez, who finishes his night with 7 shutout innings. Man, oh man, was he good again.
Just wonderful to watch.
You know, I know he has his 1, 2, 3 innings, but what's impressive to me is like when he had runner at third with 1 out, should have had an out. Somehow he got on the confusion play. It's first and third, and then he still gets 2 outs.
Right.
Ground ball pulled foul by Borges. Strike 1.
Peter's been swinging the bat well. He's made some solid contact, including a triple in Los Angeles. He will probably stay in the game to play left field.
You know, you like it. He got, what, 2 at-bats Monday night in San Diego, a pinch hit on Tuesday, and then he got 4 ABs Wednesday. And it's one of those things that all of a sudden you get a little bit of a rhythm. That's why I think Snit does a good job. Bobby always did the best with that, is making sure everybody, you didn't play often if you were a bench guy, but you were going to get your 4 ABs every two weeks or so.
Stay sharp.
2 strikes. Runner at second with a big lead and chased out of the zone, and that retires the side. So a little infield confusion and maybe a break on a hit batsman turns into a big Atlanta Insurance run in the 7th.
Fastest internet with the best in-home Wi-Fi experience. And by Delta Airlines.
3-0 Braves as we head into the 8th inning. And Ronald Acuna been on the DL since May. Well, the Braves are being very cautious with his return, but he is making steady progress. And today, for the first time, he did some outfield drills, and Eric Young told me he had no limitations and that he looked really good out there, but there is no timetable for him to come back. Brian Snitker said he still hasn't run the bases. They have that scheduled for tomorrow to do for the first time. They'll do it again on Saturday, and he also hasn't fielded. Brian Snitker said he wants to see him let one loose to the bases. So, guys, still some steps to take, but we are getting closer and closer to seeing the left fielder back out there.
That's always good news, Kelsey. Thank you for that great report. Peter Borges stays in the game. He's in left field batting in the number 9 spot. Dan Winkler is on in relief of Anibal Sanchez. He'll hit 8th and pitch the 8th. Boy, has he been excellent. A sub-1 ERA and chewing up right-handers like Jeff Francoeur and Bubblegum.
That's not bad. I give that a C.
C.
11 for 11 in hold chances, which is where he is right now. Hold the lead.
You know, we talked about Acuna, and there's a bunch of people, you know, sometimes wondering, when's he coming back? That's one thing you do not rush. A young kid with a knee
Yeah.
The last thing you want him is running a different way, and then you get a whole new injury, Joe.
And have it turn into a chronic problem. And as you know, Jeff, rehabbing, doing drills is never the same as live action because of how you push yourself in live action.
It's completely different. The adrenaline takes over. You can't play at 80%. And luckily, Charlie Culberson's doing such a great job right now for us that you can afford to let him have a few extra days.
Right.
A.J. Ellis has had a good night at the plate. Took that one inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, let's face it. It'll be 3 weeks Sunday since Acuna injured his knee. We all thought his season was over. And so anything we get from him is a gigantic bonus. As that's off the screen again. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
You know what I love too is I remember when I first came up and you're playing, Joe, you don't, you're in the motion. You don't really learn anything because you try to, but it's going 100 miles per hour. Right now, he got to play a good bit, and now all of a sudden he's got to spend 2.5 weeks watching, learning, and doing different things. I think that's great for him.
I don't think that'll hurt him at all.
Line drive to center, but right at Ender, who hardly had to move. Ellis has hit the ball on the button 3 times. That's the first time the Braves have gotten him out.
He's swinging it real well right now.
And this will be Travis Jankowski. He's going to come on and hit for Erlin, who pitched an inning with a hit and a strikeout in San Diego relief. They play the Brady Bunch theme for Jankowski. Jankowski had a rough trip to St. Louis. He went 1 for 13 there. In Miami and St. Louis, he's 4 for 24. Another sharply hit ball to center. Ender's going to catch that. A soft fly for the second out.
Visit your nearest Advance Auto Parts store to get the quality parts you want from people that know a lot about them.
So 2 outs, bases empty. Here's Perella. He's got one of the Padres' 4 hits, a 6th inning infield single. That was that crazy bouncing ball that Camargo appeared to be shielded on at third base. San Diego had first and third. But then Spangenberg popped out, Hosmer popped out, and that was it. Sharply hit and through. Perella has 2 hits tonight.
That ball was snaking a little bit when it got to Borges. It was hit hard, and sometimes it gets in that grass.
Oh, especially at night.
Yeah.
That grass gets a little bit wet.
You see it take a little funny roll.
So Spangenberg is the San Diego hitter. He's hit the ball in the air twice. He's grounded out to second in his other at bat. Atlanta trying to hand the Padres their 7th shutout this year. Atlanta's pitching staff this season already has pitched 7 shutouts. 1 ball, no strikes. And foul back. And isn't it weird? We talked about it in our opening comments. The Braves go to the West Coast and have miserable time winning at Petco Park. San Diego comes to Atlanta and has a miserable time winning here.
What it shows me is time change has to do something to you, even though you don't think it does.
Really?
What else explains it? I don't know.
1-1 pitch.
This is the same San Diego team that we're just shutting down tonight that scored, what, 11 runs the first game and 6 runs the third game?
Yeah. It's weird. You go west and you say, okay, well, you got an extra 3 hours. Well, that's fine, except you start a 7 o'clock game at 10 o'clock body time. That first day, first couple of days is really a long spell, but before the game starts.
Line drive into right field. Spangenberg with a 2-out hit.
You come home, takes you a couple of days to recover from the time change of losing 3 hours.
Well, all of a sudden, it's a little hot under the collar for Dan Winkler. Got the first 2 outs. Back-to-back hits by Perella and Spangenberg brings Hosmer to the plate. He's got 9 homers and represents the tying run here.
He's got excellent control, especially to the lefties. He's been burning that outside corner. Nice piece of hitting by Spangenberg.
It's an AB right there where that pitch Winkler just threw right there, Joe. I hope he stays there.
Yeah, I do
don't
too.
Come in. Don't give him a chance to, you know, even if he hits an oppo double, you're still up 3-2. Don't give him a chance to those seats in right field.
That one had the corner at 95. Hosmer behind 0-1. And it's pulled down the right field line. That's fair. And into the corner. That's going to score a couple of runs. Hosmer's in at second. It's a 3-2 game. 3 consecutive San Diego hits.
See on this replay in a minute, Joe. He was trying to go away. Tyler was set up out, and Dan missed right over the middle of the plate. Watch this right here.
Oh, yeah.
This is in.
Pulled it.
Pulled it bad.
Supposed to be a backdoor cutter.
So Chuck Hernandez is on his way out. Nobody up in the pen. You've got Renfroe up there. Problem now is a single could potentially tie the game. So a hit with 2 strikes to Spangenberg. A missed location for Hosmer, who didn't miss it. Double down the line. And now he's in scoring position for the San Diego cleanup man, Hunter Renfroe.
Renfroe has only faced him 1 time, 0 for 1.
So that hit by pitch and defensive miscue by Hosmer looming very large in the game. That's the difference. The 3rd Atlanta run means it's a 3-2 score. And that just missed to Renfroe. Ball 1.
This guy's a good fastball hitter. Again, stay away. Try to get him to chase that cutter. Got away with that one.
Center cut and up in the zone. Fouled back though. 1-1.
This first night I can remember in a long time where Dan's just missing location. And I think you just come to expect that he's going to go in there and deal every time.
Well, and you got the first 2 out so easily. You just think, okay, it's another
Here's
Dan
another
Winkler inning. Yeah.
1 ball, 1 strike. Line and caught by Ozzie, and that's the inning. San Diego got 3 2-out hits and 2 2-out runs. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Milwaukee Braves, the New York Mets, and the San Francisco Giants. Warren Spahn missed 3 full years after he enlisted in the Army following the 1942 season. He saw action in the Battle of the Bulge and at the Ludendorff Bridge as a combat engineer, was awarded a Battlefield Commission, a Purple Heart, and a Bronze Star for bravery. You see his resume on your screen. Warren Spahn won 20 or more games, 13 seasons, and at the age of 42 went 23-7. Won the Cy Young Award in 1957, runner-up 3 times, all during the period in which one award was given. Remember, the Cy Young was not given to a National and American League player. It was given to one pitcher for both leagues. And Spahn went to the Hall of Fame with 83% of the vote in 1973.
Adam Simber is the new pitcher for the Padres, a submariner. 3-2, a 2.60 ERA. His fastball tops out at about 88, but big time sink normally.
I mean, you talk about a true submariner. This is it. The last 15 years, I can only remember Chad Bradford is the other guy that you would almost see his knuckles scrape the ground when he pitched.
So fellas, what's the challenge of hitting against a guy like this?
Make sure you're batting lefty. Or there's a good chance you're going to be walking back to the dugout.
Just make him get the ball up. Anything that starts at the knees, try to lay off.
It's just such an angle you never see. There's really no way to practice it.
And then he gets one up in the zone, and Ozzie chased it collarbone high. So an old-fashioned riser ball takes care of the Braves leadoff man for the first out.
I mean, you think about his base on ball to K ratio. It's amazing. Six balls, base on balls, and 43 strikeouts.
Outstanding.
Simper riding an 8 1/3 inning scoreless streak, which covers 7 games, including tonight. He's got Dansby up there. Dansby's 0 for 3 in the game. And almost got hit. Ball 1.
Or you do that, wait till it hits you and go to first. I remember all the time going up to the plate, Jerry Manuel would come walking out, and there comes Chad Bradford in with the Mets. Thinking, gosh. Anybody else? Give me Billy Wagner.
1 ball, no strikes. Popped up. And Galvis at short will handle that. One shortstop to another. That's the second out of the inning. So here's Freddie 0 for 3. Trying to keep his 7-game hit streak alive tonight. Freddie struck out in the first, bounced out to first in the fourth, and lined out to left in the sixth.
Part of me is wondering, do we want Frey to end his hitting streak tonight? Because in San Diego, if y'all remember, he broke his hitting streak on Monday night and then just happened to go out there on Tuesday night and go 4 for 4.
Right. The night they broke his streak was the game that Clayton Richards started. He went 0 for 5.
And he comes back the next night just hammering the ball everywhere.
Yeah, 23 of 24 games.
Well, my answer is no. I want him to hit a home run so the Braves have a 2-run lead. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fly ball headed for the gap, perhaps, and that ball is going to get down. It rolls past Reyes. The streak lives on. It's a 2-out double for Freddie.
Or just do that.
20th double for Freeman. His 89th hit.
Simber tried to throw the old rise ball on Freddie and didn't get it up high enough.
Yeah, I thought that would come the walk here to Markakis to bring up the righty.
Let's see if Tyler can lean into another one.
I'm still not used to the runner just going to first and you don't even pitch.
It's like Tom Glavine has said when he's been here with us, Jeff. He said, I look up and there's somebody going to first. And I'm like, what happened?
We all think it's coming, but you're used to seeing a guy put out hands.
Right.
Another genius way to speed the game up.
There you go. Tyler grazed with a pitch in the 7th after a 2.5-minute review. He was awarded first and came home on a ground out. That's the difference making run in this game. And a strike. 0-1.
That first one must not have hurt, or he'd have put that elbow guard on. We're pretty sure the second one didn't hurt.
I think second one he was okay.
Little number back to the mound. Simber drops it and throws a sinker to first. 1 run scores. Here comes Freddie to third. He'll stop. And the Braves get a gift again from the Padre defense. Wow.
Wasn't that big a bobble? He had plenty of time. He just kind of rolled out of his glove there. That wasn't even close.
No.
Hosmer's a big guy, too.
You almost want to tell him, especially right here when he looked, he should see where Tyler is and say, man, I can set again if I needed to.
A 2-base error brings home Freddie Freeman. Markakis to third. Flowers at second. Atlanta has their insurance run. It's 4-2.
Wow.
You ever think how he throws pitching, Joe, might affect that throw in the first right there because they're used to coming way down?
Uh-huh.
So the Braves with a run in the 7th, a run in the 8th. Now lead 4-2, and Camargo the batter. Johan with a single last time up. Up the middle, Galvis scoops and fires, and that retires the side. This amazing Braves team continues to impress with 2 outs. They need 3 outs to win game 1.
Your local Ford dealer, the Georgia Lottery, and by the All-South Highway Safety Team. The All-South Highway Safety Team reminds you to play it safe by never mixing drinking and driving.
4-2 Atlanta, we head to the 9th inning. And fans, a reminder for you, the 2018 Camping World MLB All-Star ballots open and exclusively online. Make sure to vote for your favorite Braves as they hope to make the National League All-Star squad in Washington, D.C. Go to Braves.com/vote, and all the excitement of the 89th MLB All-Star Game presented by MasterCard appears July 17th live on Fox.
You know, it works out good, hopefully, for Freddie and Nick and Ozzie. For the All-Star Game, it's in D.C., and we open up in D.C. in the second half.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Hang up there, have a good couple days after, and there's no doubt those three deserve it. And you know what's best is that Freddie's the leading vote getter.
Isn't that cool? Finally, people recognizing it.
Yeah, an article I saw yesterday said that Freddie Freeman is criminally underappreciated by many in Major League Baseball. That's changing by the day as the Braves lead the East and are 3 outs away from their 40th win of the year today.
Yeah, I don't care what city you're in, whether you're in Chicago, New York, LA. If you're the leading vote getter, there's other cities giving you some love.
Yeah, there are. Vizcaíno pitched yesterday, earned his 12th save, and threw 17 pitches. Not too many.
And you know he had to love that extra run we got there, because there's nothing better than a closer just to have a run to play with.
You bet.
Win number 40 for the Braves last year came on July the 2nd in Oakland. Vizcaíno saved that one for Jim Johnson. A 4-3 victory in 12 innings. It was that exciting series out west as a line drive over first on a 2-strike count by Reyes. And he's aboard to start the inning. Boy, the last couple innings, Padres have done some good work with 2 strikes, couple of costly hits.
I was kind of like the pitch, the mistake made earlier by the Padres pitcher. He left it up. He had the good location, but left it up.
I mean, that ball wasn't hit hard. It was just placed perfect right over Freddie's head.
And he's 6'5", so he's got long arms and could reach it.
Yeah, that Oakland series was the one where Fulte almost threw the no-hitter. Against the Athletics, here's Galvis. And off the plate. Ball 1. Galvis 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts. Again, he represents the tying run.
Wow, thank you very much.
Yep.
That looked like ball 3. I know he was thinking one swing and I can tie it up, but he didn't get his pitch to do that on. He just was 2-0. I'm going for it.
I think, you know, he had a lot of success here last year against us with the Phillies. You know, that short porch, and even in Philly, he'd always turn and yank on one. I think he was trying right there for sure.
And he has 2 hits against the Roadies. One of them is a homer. He's 2 for 6. Won't be a homer this time. A fly ball to center. And Ender is there. There's the first out. And here's Margot. The Padres center fielder 0 for 3.
That was a good call by Vizcaíno. He shook off a couple of signs from Tyler, who had some off-speed pitches in mind, but because Freddie swung at that bad fastball in, he went right back in there. Popped it up.
I've always said it's tough to get beat with 98.
Yeah.
You know, if you got it, throw it.
Margot has a 6-game hitting streak on the line here in the 9th inning.
I feel like a guy that throws 98, 99, Joe, most of the time the long balls he gives up is a hanging off speed pitch.
Going to get beat with your best stuff.
Yeah, I mean, not many guys can catch up with 98 as far as a home run goes.
Right.
They might shoot one through the hole.
No balls and a strike for Margot. The pitch. It was up, but fouled away.
That was a mistake. He got away with it. Now, if you want to throw the slider again, throw it, but don't throw it for a strike.
Start it right in the outer corner and let it end off. If you're going to miss, you got to miss away.
Right. Nice stop.
I think right there you saw Tyler want a fastball right away, Joe. I think he was thinking what you were. Don't hang it again.
Mm-hmm.
One ball, 2 strikes. Bouncing ball to third, might be 2. There's 1, there's 2, there's your ball game. Braves beat the Padres for the 8th straight time in Atlanta and the 5th straight time here at SunTrust Park. And fellas, Anibal Sanchez at long last has his first victory against the Padres after 7 brilliant shutout innings. Atlanta wins it 4-2. What a game.
Defense has been awesome. It is again.